Hello everyone, my name is Elena Shvab and I'm a hat designer based in London. Welcome to my studio today. It's a live session and we are talking about Fedora hats and different ways of how to decorate them. I'm very happy to welcome you to my studio and to this live session, and I hope it's going to be quite useful, informative tutorial, and it will help you to learn different techniques and different ways of how you can also decorate your hats at home. So today, right now here, I have it's not a Fedora hat yet, but it's a brim hat, and this is a project that I'm working on right now. This is for a very creative photo shoot, and I've been commissioned to create this type of hats. And I just finished blocking it. I finished with stitching the wire and stitching the Petersham ribbon around it. So the shape itself is ready. Now what I have to do is just to create some decorations in order to make it a really beautiful and stand out hat, but still very modest and really quite design. I also want this hat to be a Fedora hat, and at the moment it's still on the hat block. This is a dome-shaped hat block and a flat brim hat block. And as you can see, I usually prefer to create my fedoras using a dome shape style hat block so that I can create unique shapes for the crown. So it gives me possibility of experimenting, of coming up with different shapes that you can't find on the market. That's what creates a wonderful feature for all my hats. A little bit about the hat blocks. I do have another video session about different types of hat blocks, traditional hat blocks, which are made of wood, like this one. And I have a different session about alternative hat blocks, the ones that are made of polystyrene or styrofoam or other, non-traditional hat blocks that that are perfect for beginners. So you don't have to invest a lot of time, especially when you don't know what type of hats you would like to create in general, because hat blocks, they're really expensive investment, and sometimes when you're just starting millinery, you just want to try to make a hat and see whether you like it. Sometimes it's best to go for alternative hat blocks that are not expensive but still work for the purpose that you are aiming for. So this is a polystyrene shape. It's a very basic shape, round shape, quite thick, because I need thickness of the material so I can use the pins to secure the hats while they're in the process of blocking. And then I secure a crown and a brim together so that the crown does not move. It's a different technique. We're gonna talk about it, how to adjust crown and a brim at my membership program, which you are welcome to join at any time. All the details are in the description of this video. But it's a good and great technique to learn so that you can put different styles of crowns and brims together. So back to our hat. So this is style of the hat that I've created, very basic, straight brim and rounded crown. So now I want to make it into a Fedora style hat. Very simple, nothing too much, because this is a commission piece, so I have to follow with the style that I've been asked to create. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move the hat block at the moment aside, because at the moment I do not need it. And I'm going to move this, we're going to come back to the ribbons later. So now we have a hat, and we will need a steamer. This is a steam iron. You can use anything else, whatever works and creates steam. It could be a kettle, but just please be careful so you don't burn your hands with the kettle. The way you work, you open the lid and the steam continuously, the kettle creates steam, but you have to be very careful not to burn your hands because the steam is really powerful. You can use a steam iron like I'm going to do now. You can use clothes steamer. Some of them are not as strong, but some of them are more effective, they're more powerful. So I would say go for those that are a bit more powerful. It will be easier for you to work because felt does need a lot of steam, quite powerful steam. Straws can work with just a basic steamer, not very powerful. It will work for straws, but not that much for felt because the material is quite thick. So what are we gonna do is I want to create sort of like a dip here on top, and I'm gonna steam this shape a little bit. This is what you can do at home as well with any shape that is similar to mine, or this is how you can, for example, shape your fedoras or your hats that lost shape, that are quite old, and sometimes the brim is going going to be wavy and the crown losing shape. So this is what you can do in order to reshape your hats. So I'm going to apply a little bit of felt steam on top of the crown, but I will be careful not to apply steam on the brim because I don't want to deformate it. It's just for the crown, and just a little bit. And that's what I'm going to do because it's quite hot. The felt softens, and what I do, I press down a little bit, just like that, and carefully with my hand I'm molding the crown. The steam, the heat of the steam cools down really fast, so you don't really have enough time to play with it, so you have to be quite quick. So it's best if you have understanding of what kind of shape you want to create, and then you just go for it with quick movements, steaming, shaping, steaming, shaping, steaming, shaping, because you don't have a lot of time in between steaming. The material cools down really, really fast. So I'm continuing with the shape until I'm happy. All I want to create is just very, very simple crown. So just something like this. This is part of the design, but I also want to make sure that it's all straight and it looks great. I also keep my hand underneath, supporting the shape underneath and molding with this hand on top. Okay. There, and I'm just going to steam a little bit more because one of the sides is not very symmetrical. Okay, just a little bit more. So while it's still warm, you can shape and manipulate the felt, while once it cools down, there's nothing much you can do because felt becomes quite stiff again. So while it's hot, it's quite soft, so you can mold, and in a couple of seconds it cools down and becomes very stiff and rigid, so there's nothing you can do. I might just maybe change a little bit in front, just to bring this right here. Okay. So that I can see that this is the front, this is going to be the back. Okay, lovely. So then I'm gonna try it on. Okay, I think I like it. I just want to make a very, very simple shape, but obviously if you understand the idea, you can go really crazy and create very unique shapes. You can create a fedora, like steam a little bit the front and just pressing with your hands, or just create a symmetry, also shape and steam a little bit, and using your hands as a blocking tools, just manipulate the felt while it's still warm. It's very, very easy to manipulate it. It becomes like clay, and honestly, it's really, really fun to do. So it's just gonna change a little bit here front to make a perfection. There. And I continue molding until the felt cools down, because I don't want the shape to go back to its shape, because while it's still warm, it's sort of like going back to its original shape. Okay, so I think I'm quite happy with that. So what do you think? It's simple, but I quite like it. So it's sort of like a fedora hat. It's just without this details up front, because classical fedora hat has 3 dips, 1, 2, and 3, and I just created 1. And that's what I want. Very simple, minimalistic design. Just a little bit touch of of shaping, and the rest I want to add the decorations, but not too much. Also make it very, very simple, because this hat, based on my design, it has to be very minimalistic, as I already said, because the main focus is going to be on the costumes. All right, so for the decorations, there's so many different ways of how you can decorate your hat. All you need is just imagination and different materials that you have at home. You can be surprised sometimes what kind of materials you can actually use. You just have to find something like some kind of fabrics or ribbons or feathers, you know, experiment with it, put it together, see how it looks, put it next to the hat, put it the decoration, and then put it all together on the hat, so that you can see how it all works together. So for the decorations for this hat, I will be using ribbons. These are Petersham ribbons. So the original ones, they come in different width and so many different colors and even textures. So you can find on the market a lot of different options for your hats and find something that you really like. For this hat, I need something very basic, so it's ivory and black, and just a touch of white, because I don't want to create a lot of noise, like visual noise. It has to be very, very simple, but I still need a little bit of touch of something for the contrast, because on black it could be a little bit too dramatic, a little bit too boring. So at least adding a little bit of ivory on top can create really nice contrast. And I'm going to show you a hat that I already made with a different style. It's a boat hat. So we're going to be aiming to something like this. So you see, it's very simple design, but really, really striking. It's really beautiful. So with these kind of designs, you can really go crazy with your outfits and earrings and accessories. Because in your style, it has to be a balance between what you wear, like your outfit, and a hat. So they can't both be striking. It's wonderful when you have, for example, either striking hat, so all your focus is on your hat and the rest becomes as a background for your hat, or other way around. You know, the most striking is your style, a suit, whatever you're wearing, or accessories, and then you support it with the shape, but not with the decoration of the hat. So, and in the meanwhile, I want to say hello to everyone who joined while I was talking, and I hope you're enjoying the session. My name is Elena Shvab. I'm a hat designer based in London, and this is my channel. Welcome everyone. And for everyone who's new today, please subscribe to my channel. It will help it a lot to bring this my channel to a wider audience, so they can also learn hat making skills. And you're also welcome to join my membership. All the details are in the description of the video. I post there members only tutorials, which are more advanced with more details, where I show how to make hats. Right now we're learning about how to create cinema boat hat, step by step. Every time, every lesson, we learn new skills and new techniques. So please join. If you have any questions, please ask. I would be happy to answer all your questions while we are here during this live session. And hello everyone. Rod, Marianne, hello. It's lovely to see you all. So we are continuing with stitching the ribbon, decorating the ribbon with the hat. So my original hat right here that I showed before, this is Petersham ribbon, which is I think about 4 centimeters wide, but I don't have it anymore. So I decided to create wide ribbon using 2 narrow ribbons like this one. They are 2.5 centimeters each, 2.5 centimeters, and I've created a wider ribbon by stitching them together. So if you can see here, see I stitched both ribbon on one side, and I ironed to flatten the stitch with a sewing machine. It's very easy. And then I stitched also white ivory ribbon, so that you can see only a little bit. But this is at the back. This is how it looks. You can play with the ribbons the way you like. It can be any colors, any combinations. it can be really creative. There are no rules about it. It's just personal choice, personal touch. As the hat decorations, it's part of our personality, and we always like to decorate hats, you know, depending on our vision, our style, our gender, our mood. You know, there's so many different amazing options. So how to apply Petersham ribbon or cross grain ribbon or any other ribbon. I'm going to show you the technique that I'm usually using to apply Petersham ribbons on the hats. So first of all, I measured the desirable length of the ribbon. So I measured it first, and then I cut the ribbon, and then I stitched all three together. And now I'm gonna apply them on the hat. Okay, so I'm gonna need small scissors for that. Just gonna trim the excess. And what I usually do, I'm being a little bit naughty, and for this step I'm using glue. Usually I don't use glue, but only for several steps. It's when I need the glue to hold the ribbon in place, so that later I can stitch you know, all the decorations together. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna apply this here. I'm gonna use a little bit of glue, but please be careful. If there's any glue on the hat, it's not coming off. Okay, so you don't want to start making your hats from the beginning. So you have to be very, very careful. So I applied a little bit of glue here, and I'm going to attach this to the other side of the ribbon to hold it in place. And I'm going to wait until it dries. Okay. So my camera is blurry. Okay, because I see fine here on my side, but it should be fine. But how about I just clean it a little bit while the ribbon is drying. So bear with me for a second. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Okay. Okay, how about that? That's why I like live sessions, because I can hear what you see, because otherwise it was just a video recording. I would just continue without knowing anything. Let me know if it's better now. Okay, and I think this is already dried. So the glue I'm using, it's, well, you can't really see here, squashed it a little bit. Well, this is Yoo-hoo glue, yellow Yoo-hoo glue. It's a fabric glue. It's perfect. It dries fast. It doesn't really smell. It dries clear. So for anything that I need, I usually use this type of glue. And now, as I said, it dries fast, so it's already dry. So I'm gonna move the ribbon slowly, no rush. Okay, so now we have the perfect length of the ribbon. Okay, let me move this away. And what I'm going to do now, I have the rest of the ribbon here. So I created the same style, two Petersham ribbons stitched together like this here, and then I steamed the seam so that to flatten it, because we don't want anything like any bumps on the surface of the hat, so the flatter the better. And then after I secured two Petersham ribbons, I secured ivory ribbon here on top, because I just need a little bit of touch. And now I'm going to measure the ribbon, the length of the ribbon. So I don't want it, not the ribbon, the bow. We're creating the bow right now. So I don't want it to be too wide. So this is going to be one side of the bow, and this is the length that I want it to be. So it means this is the middle, and there. Just let me see if that's going to be enough. Yeah, it's going to be enough. And now I'm going to cut this ribbon right here. And I'm going to use a little bit of glue again. So I'm going to use it right here in the middle. A little bit of glue. You don't want to put a lot of glue. You don't need to put a little glue. And then I'm folding the bow and attaching it here right in the middle. And checking that it's all perfect on the other side. So that's our bow. And now you have a design choice, what you would like to do. This is the ribbon, so I either apply the ribbon so it's ivory to ivory, or I apply it otherwise when the ivory is at the bottom and the black is on top. So that's how you can play a little bit with your ribbons, just to see a little bit of contrast, a little bit of geometrical lines, how they are combined together. But I'm going to do exactly the same as I did for my previous hat, and that was, so all white lines are on the same side and another ivory is right here. So it creates a dynamic in a way, because one of the white lines is on the side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply a little bit of glue here as well. And again, just a little bit, just a little touch. And other way. And I'm applying right here where the joint of the ribbon, joint to joint, pressing, waiting until the glue dries. It dries really fast, so in the meantime I can move on. And now I'm going to apply this little part, and the purpose of this part is to cover all the joints so that our ribbon looks nice and neat. Okay, and I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to apply a little bit of glue, and I'm going to secure this part of the ribbon right here. So the reason I'm using the glue is because honestly it makes my life much easier. So while I'm creating the whole bow thing, the glue helps to keep all the parts together, because now I can stitch all of the parts together instead of stitching them separately, because believe me, that would have taken much longer. So now once I applied the glue, it all keeps together, and I'm going to continue with stitching. So I'm going to need black thread, single. Okay, single thread. Okay, I'm just going to use a new one. Okay, just a single, because we want our stitches to be very neat and accurate. And don't forget the knot, that you always must have a knot. And now I'm going to stitch. First, the stitch is at the back, and I'm securing the overlap. Okay, just a few stitches would be quite enough to keep it in place. So I'm stitching on one side, and then I'm going to stitch on the other side. I'm not even cutting the thread. I'm just moving to the other side and stitching, securing the ends right here. Okay, and now I'm making a loop and a knot, and I'm going to cut the thread. Okay, so that's secured. Again, a knot on your thread. Make sure that this part is in the middle before we start stitching and securing all the layers together. So I'm quite happy with that. And now from the back, from the little loops that you have on the Peterson ribbon or any cross grain ribbon, you stitch all of this together neatly and accurately, because you want all your stitches to be sort of like invisible at all. Okay, and I'm stitching through one side, and I'm securing this part, the overlap. I'm securing the bow itself, and I'm securing the ribbon too, so that this middle part does not move. Okay, just a few neat stitches. And then again, I'm just gonna stitch into the loop and secure. Okay, lovely. So I'm not going to continue right now because there's going to be a lot of stitches, but what you have to do is to secure each and every of these squares, just a little stitch here, 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 and here to keep the middle part in place. And then we're going to also secure these parts. So you're going to stitch through from the back, through the loops, right here on the edge, going through. So one stitch here, one stitch here, one stitch here, and one stitch here, so that the bow is secured on the ribbon. And then we're going to place our ribbon on the hat. And you can position it any way. You can position it in the middle, here on the side, and you can position it at the back. Very much depends how you want the bow to be. But this is a classic style bow when it's stitched to the ribbon, so it looks quite flat. But sometimes you can just play with the ribbon a little bit and make it a little bit more modern and more creative by, for example, moving these both sides of the bow and securing them to the ribbon like this, so that your hat looks like that. Or, for example, you can fold your ribbon like this and then secure the edges right there with a little stitch. Just going to secure with the pin just to show you. Okay. So I think it looks really lovely as well. So you see, the ribbons, you can play with them the way you want. You can fold them. You can you can learn the art of origami and recreate the origami not on paper but on ribbons, and then apply them to your hats. And that could be actually a really amazing way of decorating hats, decorating the, like, instead of traditional ribbons. You can make it really creative. You just have to sit down, take your ribbons and play with them and try to stitch one side here or maybe one side there, and just come up with different options. And as long as when you start playing with the ribbons, you suddenly realize that, oh my God, there's so many different options of how you can actually place the ribbons on your hats, and it could be really fun and creative. You can try different colors, you can try different textures, applying them together. You can try different widths, like I tried right now, one narrow white and a bit wider black. There are also even narrower ribbons, like 1 centimeter, so you can try different 3 layers together, and all these 3 layers could be different colors. So there's a lot of a way of how you can play with decorating your hats. So I think my hat is quite ready. I just need to stitch the bow, but I'm going to do it later. And this is how it's going to look. Something like that. Well, I have a headband here, so well, let me just, yeah. I think it looks really, really cool. Very simple, but still quite striking, especially because of the decoration and because of this little feature. So it's sort of like mix of very traditional hat slash fedora, but it's still not fedora, not very traditional hat. So it's like a combination of both, which is kind of cool. And this style that you can't really find anywhere on the market. So this is why the hat is quite unique, because you created something new, something not very traditional, something part of your imagination. And the more you experiment, the more you play with the shapes, the more you play with how to steam your hats. And it could be not just the crown, you can steam the brim as well, and you can try to manipulate the steam and fold it up. Like with one of my students, we created a really nice boat hat, but then she decided to fold the brim, and we came up with a really amazing hat, very, very unique. And it's just because she decided to take a step forward and experiment with what if we're going to do this and that. So if sometimes you ask yourself what if, don't stop yourself, just go for it. You can always make another hat, or you can always steam the hat back and bring it to original design. And the way you do it is, you can, for example, if my brim is slightly deformated, which I can see that it is right here, right now. So in order to flatten the brim, what I'm going to do, I need a towel. It's just cotton towel, something very basic. Go for, natural materials, ideally. So I'm going to cover the hat so that I don't burn the felt. And I'm going to use a little bit of steam, and I'm going to press the brim a little bit with the iron and the steam. Steam softens the felt, and while it's a bit soft, I press with the iron, and that what helps to what's the word for that? To flatten to flatten the shape. Same way you can do other way around. You can steam a little bit and then fold it and play with it a little bit. Okay, so I'm quite happy with the design of the hat, but I also want to show you a few different other options of how you can manipulate the what we can do with other materials in order to create decorations. Because sometimes, ribbons are too traditional, too boring, even if it's a combination of different colors and widths, but sometimes you want to come up with something really, really fun. And I'm going to show you, first of all, if you're making your own hats and you have offcuts of felt, like for example, this is the offcuts of this hat. So I needed to trim the brim a little bit. So this is what I have. And usually you would throw this out because there's nothing you can do with it, right? But you can still use it for decorating your hats. I'm going to show you how. We need this is what I call ironing board. I don't have a traditional ironing board because I don't have space in my studio, and I just use it's a cotton cloth, perfect for for ironing, for anything that I do. So what I need to do first is to flatten the shape, flatten the felt, because it's kind of first of all rounded and folded. So I'm going to use a little bit of steam, and I'm going to stretch the felt to make it straight. So again, while you're steaming the felt, it becomes very, very, very soft. Yeah. And you can manipulate it the way you want. And now I want to create a straight line. So I'm going to have my scissors. So I'm just going to trim the edges to make a straight line. Okay. Also, very much important that your felts have to be stiffened. So they have to be stiff, because otherwise, if they're not stiffened, nothing is going to happen. They need the stiffener in order to hold the shape. So let's say I'm just going to use this part. So because I stretched it, steamed and stretched it, now it's very, very straight. And what I'm going to do is to steam it. And same way as I molded the crown with a steam, I'm going to mold this shape. And we're going to start with something very, very, basic. So we can try and make a little bow, something like, I don't know, some kind of, no, I don't like that. Actually, you know what? Let's make more cuts. Let's cut more stripes. So I'm just cutting through the fabric, but not till the end, like not cutting all of it. So you stop right here. And gonna try this. So I'm just gonna create like a few stripes, like as many as I can. Okay, one more. So I hope you're enjoying the tutorial so far. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Any recommendations, or just your opinion in general. It would be lovely to hear from you in the chat. Okay, so one more. Okay, so this is what we have, and now I'm going to have okay, I have this pencil. It's quite thick, which is perfect. And what I'm going to do is something very, very basic, but it can look actually quite cool. So I just want to show you the idea, and then you can take it further and experiment even more. So what I'm doing right now, I am rolling around the pencil. Sometimes I just lack of words. And I'm giving it a little bit of steam, and I'm holding it, waiting until the fabric cools down, so that when it cools down, it keeps the shape. Okay, and now I think it's okay, it's safe. And now I'm going to take it off, and now we have this kind of really cool curl. I think that's kind of fun. And then you can have like this in different colors, different width, different different felt hat colors. And what we can do is to apply it right next to your bow, like that, and then we're going to secure with the pins here, the cleaving. Just going to open the curl, and yeah, just like that. So that's what we have. It's very basic, but just can imagine that we have quite a few of those, and you spread them. You put one here, one is here, one is at the back. You can position them in different places, like this, for example. You can spray paint them. You can, you can do a lot of things. You just use your imagination, use different ways of attaching these kind of decorations to your hats. You can put it right here, so it's like a feather, but it's not a feather. So it's like a piece of felt, but it looks like pretty cool design. Let's see how it looks on the hat. Yeah, it's like a feather, going backwards, like at the back, and it's kind of cool. And then you can secure with a little stitch, one here, another stitch is right there, so that it stays on the hat and doesn't move. Or you can just leave it as it is, and with the wind, it can move and create some sort of a dynamic, which is sometimes quite interesting. So even with these little offcuts, you can create different designs. You can steam them, you can cut them in different shapes, you can create bows, you can create quite a lot of things. We can even make a little feather. Okay, so I'm just gonna, it's not going to be a big feather, just a small one, because that's all the material that we have. But I'm just gonna cut it like this. And so that's going to be the feather. That's how long it's going to be. And then we can, make little cuts inside, cuts that are quite close to each other. And just make it on both sides, on just one side. I'm just going to do it on one side, and we'll see how it looks. Okay. You can also spray paint it, or use acrylic paint on it and see how it looks. Okay, so I'm going to apply a little bit more steam, and I'm going to shape it a little bit. just like that. I'm hold it until the material cools down, just like that. Isn't that cool? So now we have this and this, and we can place it like right here. Right, so for example, if you like feathers but you don't have any feathers at home, so you can create your own using different colors of felts, or putting two colors of felts together and making this kind of really cool felt. So let's see how it looks. I'm just gonna move the pin a bit. Okay. So yeah, then we have a feather, and then you can place it anywhere on this side or this side. Then you can wear the hat on the side so that you have more visibility for the feathers or decorations, whatever you have. So what I'm trying to say, that even little parts of felt, don't throw them away. Don't throw them away. Just give it a go and try to create different shapes, feathers, little leaves, twist them. Use steam to manipulate the felt, and you can create a lot of different types of decorations, which you can use for your hats, for the hats that you're making, or the hats that you already have at home but just want to give it a new look, and just struggling with what kind of decorations you can create. So this is a decoration that you can make using offcuts of felts or any other felts that you have at home. Even, for example, you have old hat that you're not wearing but you don't want to throw it away, you can use the felt and you can cut it in pieces and use it for the decorations. So instead of letting it dusting somewhere on the shelf, you can use it, reuse it, give it a new life, but not as a hat but as a material that you can use for creating hats. And now we're gonna try different way, different decorations. I'm gonna show you, well, let's say, I also have it here in the studio, a lot of veil offcuts, so that I also don't know what to do with them. They're too short to make, to use it for the hat or for hair, for the veil, headband. They're quite short, quite small, so I have them for years and I don't know what to do with them, but you can always use them for little decorations here and there. So first of all, what you have to do is to steam the veil to flatten it. Okay. Use medium heat because veils can melt easily. Previously they were made of silk, vintage style veils, but right now they're made of a synthetic fabric, and if you apply too much of heat, the veils melt, so be careful with that. Sometimes you want to use baking paper on top, or some kind of fabric on top to protect the veils from the heat of the iron. So we have this little piece, which is quite lovely. I love veils. I love using them in my hats and my designs, in decorations. So even for fedora hats, for example, we don't want a lot of veil on the fedora hat, but we just want a little bit of a little touch. So what we can do, we can fold this piece in half like this, and then we're going to fold these two edges together that we joined. We're going to fold them together. Okay, and now, so we have this little piece. And now I'm going to stitch these ends together to secure them. Just a little bit of stitching through and then overlapping at the end. Cut. Okay, so we have this little piece, which we can, like for example, we have the feather, and we can stitch this little part here at the end of the feather, and all of that goes right here And then we have this. We have a feather and we have a veil, which actually creates volume and creates a really nice feature. And again, this is a decoration that you can't find it anywhere. This is very unique. This is like a personal touch. And also it gives, you know, this nice and gentle touch. You can also fold the veil and stitch it right here. If you don't want it, you know, look up too much, you can fold it down right here. You can secure it with a pin. And now we have, again, a touch of veil on the side. So let me know what you think, if you like the designs, if you would like to try it as well, if it's something new that you had never tried before. Okay. And what we can also do is also put it here up front. We can also create a lot of pieces like that and just, you know, locate them on the hat. So one piece is here, another one is here, another one is here, another one is here. So actually you can cover the whole brim, and what it's going to be is like you have veils covered all over the brim, and it's also very unique style. You just have to hide the ends of the veil underneath the Petersham ribbon, so you can't really see them here. So everything that looks like this, you know, the end has to be hidden. So you have to find a creative way of how you hiding these little knots. So it's either underneath the Petersham ribbon, or you can apply something else on top, like this decoration. Yeah, this looks also very lovely, so that it hides the end. Oh, hello, Sue. It's nice to see you. Well, working with veils is really amazing, and it creates so much beauty, and every hat that you apply a veil on becomes very tender, very feminine, you know, very light. It just creates, sometimes it creates a drama depending how you apply the veil, if it's a full face or it's just a little touch. Sometimes it creates, you know, like a playfulness and, you know, this kind of really vintagey mood. Veils could be different depending how you apply them on the hats, what style of veils. It's a massive subject, and the more you experiment with veils, the more amazing things you discover. So I would encourage you to, I don't know, buy a meter of different color of veils and just sit down and play and see how you can incorporate the veils into your hats, your headbands, or any other accessories that you're working with. So this is one of the ways as well how you can what you can do with the hats and how you can decorate them. And now I'm going to show you a really amazing, one of my favorites technique of how you can use the fabrics, different types of fabrics, in order to create a very unique decoration for your hats and hat pieces. So we need Bonder web. This is fabric glue, I would call it, which helps to bond both layers, 2 layers of any fabric together. It works for most of the fabrics. Some of the fabrics, synthetic fabrics, it doesn't work, but you always have to experiment and see and you know, test the fabrics in order to know which fabrics it works with and which fabrics it doesn't. But most of the fabrics, it works really well. Okay, I just need to find the fabrics that I have prepared. And where are they? Oh, it's always so much stuff in my studio that I'm just simply losing everything. Oh, it's right there, it just fell off. Okay, there it is. So we have these fabrics. It's usually good to use different types of fabrics. Like, for example, one is solid and another one, this is like a netting fabric. You know, really lovely. You can use it separately, decorating your hats, or for example, we can try and put these two together and see how it looks. So I'm gonna create like a little piece. just to show you the technique, and then you can find different fabrics at home. I'm sure that all of you have different fabrics that you have for years but never used, so this is a good opportunity to test these fabrics and give them a new life. And so I'm going to use this fabric, and then so basically we're creating sandwich. First, basic solid fabric, then we're going to apply a little bit of Bondaweb. Bondaweb you can buy in any fabric store, they usually have them. We need baking paper to protect the ironing board, because once the Bondaweb touches other fabrics, it sticks to them, so you would like to protect whatever you're ironing on. And then I'm going to apply a sandwich of the top layer of the third fabric, the netting. And I'm going to need another baking paper to cover it on top, because I don't want the Bondaweb stick to my iron, so I'm going to use baking paper to protect it. And now dry iron, no steam. You're simply ironing and pressing the iron. Medium heat as well, especially sometimes you work with synthetic fabrics, so they melt easily. So just try with a medium iron first. If it doesn't work, you can add a little bit more of heat. It takes time until Bondaweb melts, so be patient. Give it some time. Okay. There, and then let it. Okay, I see that it didn't melt a little bit here, so I'm just going to continue ironing. So this step requires a little bit of patience, a little bit of time that you need for that. Okay. And let's test the fabric. Okay, now you have to wait until the fabric cools down and all the layers attach, because once the material is still hot, the glue would like to sort of like move and the layers move. But once the fabric cools down, it sort of like becomes very, very solid. So what we have is this. So we have black fabric covered with silver netting, which is really amazing material now. So what we did, we just created a new textile that we can use for our hats. And I'm just gonna trim this part. Okay. So this is what we have. So I'm just creating a little sample. It's very pretty. And now you can find different nettings like silver, gold, they come with different patterns. This is a bit loose netting. You can find something, less loose. And you can find different backgrounds, red, pink, with combination of silver and gold, and play with them and see how it works. So, and every time you're going to create a new fabric, you're going to achieve new results. So it's quite hard to imagine how it's going to look at the end. So always suggest just try and make a sample, see if it works and see how it looks, and then try to make some decorations to see, how it looks. So I'm going to create a little leaf. I'm going to just cut a little shape. You can use a template for that, or you can just cut freehand, whatever works best. Okay, I'm usually impatient, so I just go for it. And it's a sample, so I'm just testing the fabric, if the decoration is going to work or not. Right, so this is what we have. You can also go even further, and you can also attach a Bondaweb and a netting here, maybe different color netting, or you can create even more layers, another different fabrics on top of this, and then another veiling on top of that. So it's like 4 layers of different fabrics, so that when you create a decoration, it creates a contrast. It's up to you, you just have to try and see how it works. And I'm applying steam because I need to shape the fabric, and because I have Bondaweb, it acts like like a stiffener. in a way, so it's much easier to mold it. And then I'm folding it in half and I'm just shaping it with my hands like that. There. And ta-da. And we have a little leaf. I think I should steam it a little bit more. So all the actions require, so you have to act fast because, you know, as I said previously, as it's the same as the felt, fabric cools down really fast, and once it cooled down, you can't really shape it that much. So you have to steam again, steam and shape, steam and shape. But it's best if you do everything in one action, like steam, shape, because every time you steam, you sort of like the shape flattens again, and you sort of like starting all over again. And look at that. Isn't it lovely? It's very simple, just 2 layers bond together, and we created this little nice leaf. Now let's take our hat again, and now we have this little feather, and we can add this little leaf, and we can attach both of them together like that, and together with our veil there. And you can create a couple of these or a few of these, so that, you know, to create a little bouquet of leaves, or, you know, you can make even the flower or whatever you want. And then I'm going to put it here, and then with a little stitch, I'm going to secure this top right here. Yeah, so that it's a little bit more open. And the veil, I would like to secure it right here. Okay, and I'm securing with a pin to keep it in place. And then once everything is secured and I'm happy with the composition, then you take your needle and the thread and you stitch all the parts together neatly, so you can't really see the stitches going through. So 1 stitch here, 1 stitch here, 1 stitch here for the feather, and that's it. So I'm gonna show you a hat that I've made using this technique. Not the hat, headband, this one. So I think it's a couple, it's at least 100 of leaves here on this hat piece. Made quite the same technique that I created this little leaf, 2 types of fabrics, but then I used netting on both sides. So it's a satin fabric inside, and then I have silver netting on both sides, so that all of the leaves, they look very, you know, in one style, so you can't see difference in one side and another side. And then you just line on top, just like that. And then I created this part that you can move it further at the back or the front. So there are many different ways of how you play with the decorations, and it's quite useful technique of knowing how you can combine different fabrics together, and then knowing how to mold them depending on the shape that you're creating. It could be a leaf, it could be a flower, it could be any other shape, it could be a circle, and you can create like different layers of the circle stitched together, and then you can, like a pom-pom, for example, also could look really cool. And then you just attach it to the hat, or you create a headband, so you can create a really amazing decorations just with very simple fabrics that you have at home. Just give it a go and try to put them together and see how it looks. So I think this is it for today, and I do hope you enjoyed these sessions, and I hope you learned something new. The Wonder Web is really amazing material. Thank you, Sue, for your comments. Yeah, Wonder Web is really great, and you can create a lot of things with that, not just combining different fabrics. You can combine different thank you very much. You can combine different felts together, or you can add something on top of the hat. I mean, there's so many different options. You just have to start, try, experiment, and you know, never doubt, never think that, oh, I don't know whether it's going to work. Well, how would you know if it's going to work if you never tried, right? Does make sense. So what you have to do is just give it a go, don't overthink it. Don't think about the end design. Don't think about the results that you would like to achieve or that you're hoping that you will achieve. You just try, see how it looks. The more you try, the more knowledge you have of the outcome. And that's when you have the knowledge of designing your next piece, because you already have the experience. Okay, I tried this and that. I know how it's going to look. And now I'm going to incorporate it in my new design using this, and this steps of making this particular technique. So thank you again, everyone who joined. And it was my pleasure having this live session and sharing these little skills and techniques. And if it added a little bit more skill to you that you would like to take further, I'm happy for that. For everyone who's new to my channel, thank you so much for watching, and please join my channel. It will help it a lot. Do subscribe and put the notification button so that you always know when I'm going live with new tutorials and when I post a new video. And anyone welcome to join my membership. There's a lot of different tutorials, and we're learning how to create a cinema boat hat. We already had 2 sessions, and we're going to have another session next week. Very useful. There's a very informative workshops and tutorials on my membership. You can unsubscribe at any time, no strings attached, but you will gain a lot and learn a lot. And all my members can request a new subject that they would like to learn, and I will make sure that I will create a tutorial on that subject. To join, please go into this description of this video, and you can take it from there. The link is in the description. If you have any questions, do ask. And in the meantime, I'm wishing you a lovely day, lovely evening, depending where you are. And I'll see you during my next live session. Thank you so much for everyone who joined. I really appreciate that. Bye.